Hey everyone, and welcome to the Race to Alaska podcast. We're back again with episode 3 of 2026. I'm here with Adam Cove.
Hey Jesse, good to see you again. It's been a while.
It really has been a while. You're out there somewhere in the ether. We don't know what's going on. What's been going on with you since then?
I just thinking about Catch Can, thinking about Race to Alaska, missing all that.
That's all you've been doing?
Yeah. Actually, no, I've been raising my crew for probably 2026, 2028. We'll have to see where we end up. I mean, 2026
you really
is
have
close,
been
so
raising some crew, have you not?
Yeah. She's 5 months old now.
Perfect.
And getting better by the day. She's already been out racing on Wildcat with us and sailing, and yeah, we're getting her ready.
What position does she have on the boat?
She's snacktician. She's in charge of eating and making sure all the food is good on board.
That's great. Remind everybody where you live.
So I am based in Massachusetts, South Dartmouth, which is right on Buzzards Bay and quite a ways away from Port Townsend where you are, which makes for a fun road trip getting to the start line.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you're still sailing around the Wildcat. You haven't moved on to more masts, more sails.
Well, I doubled down on cat boats. I've got another smaller one now too, a 15-footer. So maybe that's the next boat for R2AK.
Well, that sounds great. I mean, you already crushed with a cat boat. Like I was looking back at the numbers, and I mean, you were holding your own against much bigger, sleeker monohulls. You did really well.
Yeah, Wildcat's a tough little boat. She did well for me.
That's it's very humble of you to put it on the boat. I think you know a thing or two about sailing. Well, you interviewed someone who I think is going to be really super fun to watch. It was a great chat that the two of you had. I was listening to it, taking notes on how to better interview people. That was a few days ago at least that you did the interview. So what's your lingering thoughts about Team Moana MoProblems?
Yeah, Tyann is going to do great in this race. I think she has this endless optimism that, the race just kicks your butt all the way through. And if you can't stay positive, it's game over, especially in small boats and especially when you're alone. And so I think that alone is going to carry her through, but she's got a good skill set. I mean, she built her own boat. That counts for something.
It sure does. Yeah. Well, thanks for doing it. And I hope that we hear you more this season and maybe see you back on the race course. Not this season. We're full.
We'll get Riley trained up. She needs a little more time anyway.
All right, perfect. We'll get into that training plan and we'll see you in just a couple years. Thanks.
Sounds great.
You got me now?
I got you now.
Oh, look at my sweet do. I just threw that up.
Yeah, it looks good. Must have been working on the boat.
I was a little today.
So is it Tyann? Is that the
Tyann, yeah.
Tyann?
Yep.
Perfect.
Kind of like Diane, but with a T, if that helps.
Perfect. So we're already recording, and so
Okay.
everything will be recorded in here. We'll just kind of flow with it and have a little bit of fun.
All right. Sounds good.
Excellent. But I'm Adam. Jesse asked me to help out a little bit with the podcast. Having done the race last year, figured we could ask some interesting questions.
I did look you up, and I recognized your boat because I was following the race. I think 2024 was when it went last. And I remember Wildcat, and I was just like, oh, that's such a rad boat. And now I know that you're the guy.
No, thanks.
You're the Wildcat guy. That's great.
Yeah, exactly. It's quite an adventure. I'm excited for you. Yeah, so let's jump right in. So it looks like you've probably been working on the boat today. What projects have you been tackling this week now that you have, let's see, 143 days, 12 hours, 59 minutes, and 40 seconds to go? Not that anyone's counting.
Right. Let's see. The latest and greatest is I'm trying to build like a new tiller and rudder setup. So when the boat first came to be, I was using steering oars, which were kind of effective, and they were really nice to just kind of scull your way in and out of a mooring or something like that. But they're a little bit much to handle single-handed when things get windy or a little bit crazy. So we're going to switch over to more of a standard rudder and tiller setup so that I don't have to think about it so much.
It makes some sense. How much time do you anticipate you're going to be under manual power?
God, I hope not that much. I hope not much. I have the pedal drive is next, so I want to get the tiller done, and then I'll start working in the pedal drive and hopefully hopefully it's robust enough where it can get me through, some of the dry spells. But I'm guessing, I mean, it's different every year, right? But every time it goes, but less than 50% would be great.
Well, there you go. Well, let's hope your new tiller setup and rudder setup will be under sail most of the time for you. And what do you have planned on there? Let's talk a little bit about your boat because this is kind of something unique. A bunch of other competitors and I have talked about this before, but you're the badass going through and actually pulling this off. So brief us a little
Well, we'll
bit on your
see. We'll
your
see.
floating contraption here.
So it's an outrigger sailing canoe, and it actually started life in a different configuration. It was set up as a Pacific Proa when it first hit the water. If you're a boaty kind of person and you're familiar with the shunting rig, it just had a really cool way of moving, and that's a very, very old design. That's from, thousands of years in Oceania. They've been using proas specifically for a lot of ocean exploration. But turns out I have a lot to learn about the proa rig in general, and shunting is cool. But one of the biggest things that threw me from it was when you reef, you can't reef the sail downwards. You're kind of reefing the sail upwards. And that got me into trouble a couple times. And I think for something like the race, I wanted to make it as simple as possible so I don't have to think about tipping over all the time. So now she's been updated a little bit. So now she's a tacking rig. She doesn't shunt anymore. And she's going to have a new sail that's going to be a little bit easier for one person to manage when things get crazy. And hopefully we can just clip along.
And you were mentioning pedal power. How are you thinking of setting this up on board?
I don't really know yet. I have the pieces. I have the pieces in place. There's a rough idea in my brain of how it'll work. I have it'll be like a small kind of platform area where I'll probably be spending 90% of my time when I'm on the boat itself. So hopefully I can kind of make that my main spot where I can be sitting and set up the pedals and not be too off balance. We'll find out. I think we'll all find out together on that one.
And so talking about the boat itself, you're going to be somewhat exposed. I've looked at a
Yeah.
couple pictures of your boat. What's your plan to stay warm? Or are you just hoping that the water's toasty this summer?
Well, I'm gonna be one of those people who, if I see any kind of bad weather, I'm gonna go tuck and run. I'm gonna go find a cool place to hide. I'll set up a tent and I will just, have a little sip of coffee or whatever until it passes. I think I'm probably gonna learn a lot more from the small boat folks, like the kayaks and the paddleboard people. And if they're not going out, I'm probably not going out because I'll be out in the elements all the time like they are. So conservative
So you-
sailing for the win.
and so that kind of brings us a little bit to kind of your goals for the race here. If you're going to be ducking in, you're probably not going to be keeping up with any 40-foot or 50-foot trimarans, for example. So what are you thinking? What are you hoping to get out of Race to Alaska?
Well, I think a lot of people would agree that half the reason you do this is for the Inside Passage itself. Like it's a sacred place, it's a beautiful place, it's a wild place. So I want to be cognizant of taking all that in. So I'm not trying to break any speed records. I'm not going to be, sailing 24/7, through the dark just for the sake of getting there faster. I would rather do it in the daylight so I can see it, first of all, and enjoy it, unless the tides dictate otherwise. And I want to do it safely. I would really love to come back in one piece, like most people would too. So if that means spending a couple days holed up somewhere to let weather pass, so be it.
Now you mentioned the wild part of the Inside Passage, and it is a beautiful stretch. What are you thinking on wildlife and stuff? What do you expect on that front to see, to encounter on shore while you're sailing along? What do you envision?
Well, it's interesting because when I first decided that I wanted to try and do this race, like the immediate week after, I kept having all of these dreams about orcas. Some of them were good dreams, some of them were bad dreams, but I know that my boat's going to feel very, very small the minute any kind of marine mammal, even a seal for that matter, like pops up next to me. So like I think I'm assuming I'm going to see whales. I'm assuming I'm going to see some seals and sea otters when I'm on shore if I'm camping. I think it would be cool to see wolves or bears. I would rather not, just for the sake of not having to worry about it. But yeah, I don't know. We'll just see. We'll see what it gives me. Maybe it won't give me much, and maybe she'll show me everything. I don't know.
It's a good strategy. I mean, this race course can throw just about anything at you. And we talk about wildlife here. What scares you the most about the race course? I mean, we've got Seymour Narrows to talk about. We've got Johnstone. We've got Cape Caution. Queen
Hmm.
Charlotte Strait can be really nasty too. It was last year. What's kind of rolling around in your head right now? I mean, I remember kind of at this point in the race, I had wild expectations of things, and some things came to be, others didn't. But what are you thinking?
I think what worries me most is the things I'm least experienced with. So I have some ocean experience and have dealt with some tides, but it's always been in like big open areas where you don't have to really concern yourself too much. So the currents that can come from the tides is probably going to be my biggest concern right now. And mostly knowing because my pedal drive is not going to be super strong, so I'm not going to be able to fight 16 knots, current if it's coming down and I don't have the breeze that I need. So, um, yeah, I think that's one's going to take a little extra time to learn, but it'll be a good challenge.
And so, with not experiencing currents so much, how about whirlpools? Have you played around
Oh
with those at
God.
all before?
Yeah, that keeps me up at night. I think like and seeing some of the videos and stuff that people post about these whirlpools, like they're not just like little spinny, bits of water. They're huge and they look pretty nasty. So again, I'm gonna do my darndest to avoid those if I can. It'd be great to see them from a safe distance just to experience that. But yeah, I really don't want to get sucked into a whirlpool.
Now, not only are you doing this in outrigger canoe, you have opted to do this single-handed, solo, completely on your own. Uh, I guess I can call you crazy because I'm calling myself crazy for doing the same thing. But it's a special kind of crazy. What kind of pushed you to opt for the solo route on this?
um, that's a good question. I think when I started building the boat itself, I think deciding to do this race and building the boat kind of came around at the same time. I can't really tell which one came first, but the longer I worked on putting this boat together and the more I kind of got into it and was realizing how much I'm actually capable of on my own, like I'm not to toot my own horn, but like I built this thing and it floats and that's cool. Like I'm excited about that. So the idea of doing this race solo felt like it was closing that loop. Like I started this thing solo, and if I can do this race solo, it'll just kind of wrap it up nicely, I think.
And so being solo, and especially on this race course, I mean, you were out in the middle of nowhere at times. You really have to be able to tackle everything on your own, whether it's cooking meals, fixing stuff on the boat. You seem to have a pretty strong background on that, including your profession. Do you mind kind of talking a little bit about your professional experience on the water as well, from a mariner perspective as well?
Sure, yeah. So I've been sailing for almost 2 decades now. I got started working in an area called Door County, Wisconsin. So it's the peninsula of Wisconsin. That's where I got my captain's license, and I worked on charters. I have done little dabbles of maritime work elsewhere, like working on yachts in Florida. And I had a short stint out in England where I was doing a lot of work on the Thames for people ferries. But that also included some like rebuild projects. So there was a refurb of a sailboat project out there as well. But that's all. I mean, I haven't worked professionally on the water for a minute now, so I'm a woodworker now. So it's more of a simple life.
Well, the good news is there is plenty of wood out there.
True.
Should you need any, a lot of it floating in the water to dodge. We'll see what this season brings. Hopefully it's fairly light for you guys, but we'll see what happens.
Right. Knock on wood, pun intended.
So back a little bit to the single-handed side. You're out there alone. This could be 8 days. This could be 10 days. This could be 14 days. Could be 21 days. Who knows where any of that will fall? How are you planning to entertain yourself? Do you think you'll be talking to yourself? Do you have inanimate objects on the boat you're already talking to? Maybe you already have names for them. What's kind of your plan there to stay sane by yourself?
It's funny you say that, and maybe you're speaking from experience. Through kind of over the last few months, especially, I've been talking to more people about it now that it's real, and I'm like, hey, I'm actually doing this thing. Some people have come forward and they've been super helpful with things either that I needed for the boat, or they've been very generous with their time to like help me work on other things on the boat. So I've noticed I've started to name pieces of the boat or pieces of equipment after whatever that person did to help. So my radio has a name, my sail has a name, everything is kind of built into the boat already. So I feel like I'm going to have a lot of friends while I'm out there.
It'll certainly be helpful.
Mm, yep.
And
Yep.
you never know with other teams too. I think you might be surprised who you end up crossing paths with here and there. And kind of on that sense, this race has a pretty big community following it. I think you'll be shocked by the number of people cheering you on, watching you, following you in the race. If someone does perchance, I know you're not allowed support, but say someone happened to stumble down to the dock or near the beach where you were staying that night, and they could
Mhm.
bring you something to kind of give you a morale boost or something. What would that be?
Ooh, that's a great question. I mean, I think if they could bring me a cold beer and a piece of chocolate, I'd probably be the happiest camper out there.
Well, everyone's heard that now.
I'm gonna have more beer and
If you want to
chocolate than I
give
can shake a
Tyann a
stick at.
little boost, it's amazing, what can help you kind of get through stuff. It's a wide range of weather, and there'll be highs and lows, and would with that, on top of a boost someone could give you, what are you going to use to get through the worst of times, kind of the absolute lows that you're going to see out there? What's going to be going on in your head?
I don't think I can answer that fully because this is probably going to be one of the tougher endeavors that I've taken on. Um, what I would guess, just based on how I know myself now, is it's probably going to be a lot of stubbornness. I'm like most of us probably who do this race solo, like you have to have some level of stubborn or tenacity in you. But I'll probably be mostly thinking about the people at home. I'm very lucky to have a network of folks here in Wisconsin who are they're like family and they've been really helping to support me through this emotionally and mentally and all the things. So knowing that they're watching my little dot as it kind of creeps up the map, that'll be a good thing to keep me moving.
Now, one of the things I've always found too that can, similar to your chocolate and beer, is the nutrition side to really keep you going.
Mm.
You're going to be burning a lot of calories during this race. What's your plan to keep your energy up? What are you thinking for food and meals? Have you started to plan that out yet?
I have, yeah, and I feel like the logistics and especially the food stuff is taking up quite a lot of time actually to try to figure out what the right recipe is. Like how much protein, how much carbs, like how much fats and all that you're getting in a day. Um, I have a feeling it's going to start very technical, and I'll be trying to hit X number of calories in a day, and then once I get maybe a week in, I don't think I'm going to care what I'm putting in my body as long as I keep the furnace running. So I think probably a lot of dehydrated meals, a lot of snack bars. I'd like to sneak in some real food if I can, like beef jerky and stuff, just to keep it somewhat normal.
Excellent. So the first leg of the race, the qualifier to Victoria, is fairly short. Not to discredit how challenging that can be just getting there. Once you get beyond that, there's the rest of the race. There's 710 miles. But there is the opportunity to reprovision along the way, particularly kind of one of the last stops of civilization as you get up to Bella Bella. Uh, what if you plan to stop in Bella Bella, I'll say,
Hmm.
what are you going to go for while you're there? What's kind of the last bit of, food, nutrition, whatever that you want to load on board before you kind of make your final push up north to catch a can?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I guess I've heard rumors that Bella Bella can be a little bit picked over at that time of year, depending on how many folks come through. So again, if I make it that far, I hope I do. Whatever they have on their shelf that can last for another couple days is probably going in the boat. I hear that there's somewhere to get food like burgers and stuff around there too. So I'm definitely probably going to stop for a real meal before I get moving through Bella Bella just to kind of push me through the last chunk.
And how about secret weapons on board? You yourself, it seems like you're pretty crafty, pretty skilled with your hands. You've been putting time into building your own boat, and it's not like you have just finished it, right? It's been finished for a little while.
Hmm.
You must be busy working on other stuff kind of beyond the new tiller rudder system. What are you kind of envisioning is going to fill your time over the next couple months? Because I often find, you'll be working on it and probably up until the deadline, given the opportunity on there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to be super disciplined and really focus on just the things that need doing right now. Because to your point, like it's very easy, especially if you're kind of putsy like me. Like you want to get in there and tweak this a little bit, or like change your battery box, or like do whatever. And I know that I could get very easily wrapped up in that. So right now I'm trying to be very pragmatic, and I have like my top three things I need to get done. And once those are done, maybe I'll look into some of the other fun stuff, but one step at a time.
So looking at it, a little bit of the planning going through, what are you using as your resources? Have you been reaching out to past racers? Are you doing some research online, reading some books? What are you using to kind of influence some of these decisions as you prepare for the race?
It feels like a little bit of everything. And you mentioned that the community is large and growing for the race. And as soon as I was official and kind of listed on the site, several teams reached out to me right away, and they're like, "Hey, I see you're doing it. Like, let me know if you have questions." And like that's been a really cool resource. I've also been creeping on the old racetracks a little bit to kind of see where people are pulling over, like where they might be camping. You know, how much, like especially smaller boats like me, like what kind of mileage were they able to get in the days, and just help me figure out good spots where I can stop, or at least safe spots where I can stop along the way. Um, and definitely books. I've been starting to stack up on cruising guides and weather guides and tide guides and all the things I can get my hands on just so I can be as prepared as possible.
It's interesting, no matter how much you prepare, there's always stuff that's unexpected. But there are so many resources out there. Like you said, that the community is so important in all of this,
Yeah,
to
it's
kind of pull
huge.
everyone together.
It's huge. And
Um,
everybody's super friendly. Like there's no, yes, it's a race, but I've never, and everybody I've spoken to, that it's never like, cool, see you there. Like I'll beat you to the dot. Like none of that shenanigans. Everybody's just like, hey, let's all do this. Let's do it safely. Let's have a great time doing it, which is awesome. I love that.
and so with that, it sounds like you have talked with some other competitors for this year. Is that true? Have you talked with any other
Yeah.
teams?
hmm Yep. Mostly through Instagram. A few people have reached out, and I see that a lot of teams are starting to get their Instagram accounts started. So that's a really easy way for a lot of us to kind of like ping each other and be like, "Hey, glad you're here. Let's chat." That's been super helpful. And again, with the smaller boats, and people who have done it before, people like yourself, like you guys are a well of knowledge, and it's awesome when you guys share that with us. So we appreciate you. We appreciate you and all the other past racers for sharing your
Glad to
knowledge with
help.
us.
We had plenty of people light the way for us as well, so fun to pass it down.
Right. Could you
Now,
imagine if you were one of the first people that did this and you had none of that and you're just like, well, here we go.
exactly. Yeah, year one was wild, blazing new
Yeah.
trails for all of us.
Yeah.
And so we've been hitting on a lot of the stuff that the race itself. And I think what a lot of people don't appreciate so much is the logistics that go behind everything. For example, you are in the Midwest, right?
Yep.
And you have to just getting to the start line itself will be interesting. Do you mind if we talk a little bit about that? What your plan is just to get to Port Townsend?
Yeah, sure. So I'm thankful that I have my older sister. She's kind of my adventure buddy, and she is going to be the one kind of primarily helping me with some of this logistics stuff. And my wife as well. She's been super into it. So it's going to start with a road trip. It's going to be about a 4 or 5 day road trip with the boat on a trailer. My boat is modular, so it comes apart into about 3 different pieces. So that makes trailering a bit easier. So we'll put it on the trailer, drive across country. That'll get us to Washington. And then now I'm in the stages of figuring out the minutia of where the trailer and stuff is going to live while I'm out mucking around on the water for a couple of weeks. Um, and then, yeah, I've got probably my sister again who's going to fly back, pick up the truck, drive it north. And previous racers have told me, and it looks like as well, and just doing some research, that getting into Ketchikan by car is not super easy. It seems like it's a bit of a hassle. So I might give myself the gift of a little baby sail once the race is done. So hopefully I can finish in Ketchikan, take a couple days to recover, do whatever that means, and then I'll sail probably back south to maybe Port Edward or Prince Rupert, and then we'll put everything back on the trailer and schlep her back to Wisconsin from there. So road trip number 2.
And you bring up a great point there. Once you finished Race to Alaska, you were in islands in Alaska. You were still in the middle of nowhere. And like
Right.
the race and the challenges have not ended there. And it
Right.
sounds like you've given it some good thought already.
I've been trying. I've been trying. Thankfully, like I said, my sister and my wife have been really helpful with that. So they've been gracious enough to take over as much of the shore logistics, like just getting the car to where it needs to be at the right time responsibility, which is huge. And they're letting me just focus on staying alive while I'm out there. And then, I have no doubt that the road trip there and back is going to be probably really fun too.
And how about we jump into your team name a little bit?
Sure.
Do you mind giving a little background on that? Where did the inspiration come from that? I mean, when you're submitting your application, that can be one of the hardest parts of this because the race boss is very clear. Once you pick your name, that's your team name going forward. So
Yeah.
what allowed you to move forward with such confidence on this one?
I wouldn't say it was confidence. I mean, I've been keeping a list of potential names for a minute, and then when I went to register, I didn't realize that I'd actually have to have the name right then. And I was like, oh crap, like now I got to pick one. So I ended up going with Moana MoProblems, and it's kind of a two-parter. So the first part is high level Moana the movie. It's a great movie. That whole storyline of, you know, young woman kind of pushed into her societal role, and then she's not having it. And once she kind of leans into her true self, and she kind of blossoms being this epic voyager, like that's awesome. Like I love that storyline. That kind of resonates with me. And then on another level, the design of my boat was chosen for a very specific reason. So when I decided I wanted to build a little boat, I knew I wanted a multi-hull of some kind. I learned to sail on catamarans, and I like how they move better. They make me less seasick than other boats. And then I started kind of diving into more and more of this traditional outrigger style, and just the history with these boats. It's wild. Like it's nuts. You could say that about a lot of, you know, ancient marine cultures, I suppose, but like this style has been used for thousands of years, and it just felt really cool to like have a nod to the Hawaiians, Oceania, Polynesia, and just give the boat or give the team a little flair of that as well.
Wonderful. Love that story. And given, you know, similar craft have crossed oceans, it sounds like you're going to have no problem getting up to catch a can.
Quit jinxing me now.
It is a challenge for anyone getting on that race course. It doesn't matter what boat you're on, but you know, certainly hats off to you for trying it in a smaller boat. I think you'll find that community itself is even tighter knit within the group, and you'll probably all stay in touch as best you can across the course.
Yeah, I
Uh,
hope so. I hope so.
are you, when it comes down to communications, what are you planning on that front? Are you just gonna have the tracker and hopefully kind of disappear into the wilderness? Are you hoping to have something to at least text via satellite? How are you planning to keep in touch with anyone?
Yeah, I would like to, but I'm not as concerned about, you know, having cell reception or, you know, being able to text people while I'm out there. Kind of the other part of this race that I'm looking forward to is having a little bit of that solitude and really getting to appreciate it. I mean, obviously I'm on Instagram and stuff, so I can't say this fully, but it's nice to take a break from the devices. So like if I don't have cell service, that's okay. But like, will I have a bivy stick or something just in case something goes down? Absolutely. Like, you know, the radios, the EPIRB, I'll have many ways to try to get in touch if I need to. But for the day-to-day communication, yeah, I'm not too worried about that part. They'll see my little dot and they'll know I'm still cooking.
So Tyan, I wanted to give you a second to kind of talk about anything maybe I missed that you wanted to say, but then also maybe a shout out to anyone. I think one thing
Mm,
you've made clear is even though you're racing solo, it's far from a solo effort, even just to, you know, get to the start line, never mind to get the boat back from the finish line.
yeah,
Anyone in
absolutely.
particular?
Well, I think I should probably start with my wife, Emily. She has been the one dealing with when this boat started. I was building it in my basement, so she's been dealing with the late nights, the loud noise, the dust, the debris, all the things that boat building brings. And she dealt with that for years while it was still here, and even now she's, you know, my biggest champion. She's just like here for it, and she's making sure that I'm in a good headspace. And I have a whole list of names that I won't go through, but if anyone who listens to this podcast, you'll know who you are. Like my people have really stepped up, and makes me feel my feelings when I think about it. Because without question, I've had people who just come in and they're like, "Okay, what do you need?" Full stop. Like no questions asked. They were just ready to ride at dawn, and I'm so thankful for all of them.
I love that. Well, good luck. We'll be
Thank
cheering
you,
you on.
thank you.
Kick some butt. And yeah, keep yourself motivated out there.
Appreciate it. I'll do my best.
Thank you, Tyan.
What a great chat with Adam and Tyann. I am very excited to see her do this race. I'm very excited to see her boat. I'm very excited to potentially take her boat while she is elsewhere, take it out for a spin. She doesn't know that yet. All right, our next interview, I want to start with a question for you. How do you feel about maritime puns? It's very dad jokey. You walk around a marina and you see boat names like Why Not, spelled with a K. You can really be on one side or the other with this thing. Our next team is Team Nothing to See Here. Yeah, spelled that way. So please write into podcast@r2ak.com with your opinions, and I will make it known to this duo. In the meantime, here is me talking to them. So you, little context for the listeners out there. You both competed and completed Washington 360 this last summer. You were one of the casualties of the announcement of no race to Alaska in 2025. And were you amongst the crew of pissed off people or just deeply disappointed?
I think initially we were mildly disappointed, but as time went on, we came to appreciate it. It worked out well for us. I don't know that we were ready for a race to Alaska last year. We could have gotten there, but I think that the experience that we gained in Washington 360 was invaluable. I don't know. What do you think, Brian?
Yeah, Washington 360 was so easy.
Oh, hey. I'm going to edit that out. Try that again. It was so hard. Well, I mean, if it was so easy, why did you come in 47th place?
We didn't want to upset the cart. There's people we wanted to hang back with.
Got you.
Plus,
make it more of a
so
camping
much fun,
trip.
Right. Hey,
actually,
you're one of three teams that actually came in a tied position.
Oh.
You're tied with Manspeed because Manspeed, who was also in a Hobie Tandem Island.
Yeah.
The two of them, you joined up with them. What's like up by Point Roberts? Did you just happen to get on the same track, or did you work out a deal or something?
Yeah, they pulled in either right before us, right after us, I think, at the marina in Point Roberts, and we started chatting, and fairly quickly we all agreed that we would stick together for the rest of the race, and we did. It was a lot of fun actually sailing with them.
They're good guys. They have also joined us for some of our other events. They were in Salish 100 a few years ago. Did 7048. So I know that they've been talking race to Alaska. So I hope this year.
Yeah, I reached out to them when we were applying and let them know that we were jumping in. So I don't know what they were a little bit on the fence at that point.
I was impressed that they were trying to bust all the way up to Bellingham because the son had a high school concert to attend to.
Right, which he did do.
Yeah.
So he bailed out in Bellingham, did his concert. They got back on the water. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was fun to see father and son out there on the course. I did see that we rolled up on them with a media boat in Bud Inlet, and the son, he was already looking a little bit like tired of dad, but there was a lot of love aboard the boat. I hope that really enriched their relationship.
That's a lot to ask of any
It's a lot
kid.
of time with your dad, right? Hey, Dad, by the way, I'll teach you to sail one day. Don't worry about it.
Right.
So yeah, you two teams in Hobie Tandem Islands, which that boat. Let's talk about that boat now. I feel like Hobie should probably at this point be a sponsor of the race. So if anyone out there is listening and you have any sway, I mean, we got Hobie 16s and whatnot cruising up that way. We got all the stuff. Mirage drives abound, and now we've got in 2023 Team Toy Box Express tried to sink their Hobie and did not succeed. Instead, succeeded in getting to catch a can in something like 18 days. And then, of course, famously, the 2024 season was wrapped up with Mr. X pulling onto the dock, having not stepped out of his boat in 5 or so days. I was worried he was going to fall off into the harbor.
Wow.
Yeah, and he did it just a tick faster than Toy Box Express solo. You have said in your application that you think you're going to get there. I did the math, you didn't. But based on what you said, you're aiming at 17 and a half days. Is that going to happen?
I'd say 17 to 19 in that range.
And that's based on what you pulled in Washington 360?
Yeah, that's based on that and a little bit of leeway. Hopefully, we won't have some of the long days with no wind that we had in Washington 360, but maybe we will. Who knows?
Okay, I'm definitely going to insert. I'm going to put in a laugh track behind that because one of my very favorite things talking to future racers is all the people who think that the pedal drive is just in case.
Yeah, no,
No.
we don't think that. You know, and even when we were sailing, I'd say in Washington 360, we pedaled somewhere between 8 and 14 hours a day. So it's part of the deal.
So do you train for that like on the boat, or do you train for that not on the boat, or do you not train for that at all?
Well, Brian can speak for himself. I'm a trail runner, so that's my primary cardiovascular training. So I do consider that valuable, but I don't. And we get out, and I try to get out about once a week on the boat and do a fair amount of pedaling. But I don't know. It seems to me like there's really no preparation for that amount of grinding for that amount of hours.
That's either highly wise or really, really not. I love it. Brian, you're not. I mean, you do run, I think, but you're mostly a swimmer.
Yeah. I need to point out first that the reason that Clay is a trail runner is so he can run faster than me when bears approach.
Oh, well, that's the main tenet of getting away from bears.
That's his main reason. But yeah, I swim every day. Otherwise, yeah, I'm at the gym. So I try to stay as fit as I can. But nothing really compares to sitting your butt in a Hobie and pushing those pedals for 14 plus hours a day.
Comfort is key when you're not trying to win, I guess.
There's not a whole lot of comfort on that boat, so you got to take it where you can get it.
Do you take it? So let's talk about like your camping setup. Do you a little extra comfort there, or how's that work?
Well, we can't afford too much comfort because it's hard to carry everything we need and stay within the load limit on the boat. So,
what's the load limit?
600 pounds.
So how much do you have to play with there?
We're about 400 pounds between the two of us, almost with our clothes on. So.
Oh, we roll into camp so late that it's even a chore just setting up a tent and inflating a pad and, we just collapse. And then some of the days, we're up at 3 a.m. to be on the water by 4. So just comfortable enough.
Man, exhaustion is an amazing thing, right? There's something really beautiful about sleeping anywhere. It doesn't matter. Just a fog rolls over you. I want to go back. Let's go in the Wayback Machine here. We'll start with Brian.
Yes, sir.
When you were a teenager, how did you spend your weekends?
I was brilliant. Well, 2 ways. I worked a lot. I worked at a movie theater. And the other time I was really into competitive bike racing at the time.
Oh, okay. Competition.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Didn't win, but I tried.
Well, newsflash, that's what's about to happen to you in Race to Alaska. So that's okay. How about you, Clay? What were you doing as a teenager?
I grew up on a farm, so I was working pretty hard most of the time. Yeah.
He's got a faraway look in his eyes, everybody. Okay, so Brian was competing early, Clay was throwing hay bales around or whatever it might be. A lot of strength in that. And then tell me a little about what you did, like moving into careers and life and like families that are going to be worried about you, stuff like that.
Well, yeah, I don't think they really know what we're getting into other than we're going to be gone for a while. Maybe that's for the best, but yeah, I got two kids, wife. Both of the kids are in their 20s. Career-wise, I'm a geologist, which I started late after graduating from college. In between then, I did a lot of woodworking, furniture making, and then once I started having a family, I realized that, putting 100 hours into a piece of furniture and getting paid for 20 of it was not a good way to provide. So I fell back on my degree, and
Gotcha.
yeah, I've been in geology, licensed geologist in California for I don't know, over 20 years now.
All right. So just to go back to your family doesn't know what you're getting into. I'd like to give you this space right here, since this will be available to listen to. I'm
Yes.
going to give you the floor. Could you tell your family right now about Race to Alaska? Just a nice short snippet.
It's a pleasure cruise from Washington to Alaska that might involve bears and orcas and logs at night with riptides and whirlpools.
That's a good summary, Brian.
It's a good summary of a small portion of it. Pleasure cruise? Pleasure cruise. All right. Funny ideas of pleasure.
I'm trying to sell it.
Trying to sell. But maybe if you just don't tell them this podcast has been released until after you've left, then
I won't.
It won't matter. Okay. Clay, how about you? Tell us the quick bio.
So let's see. I grew up in Wisconsin. Left there when I joined the Army, and then spent a year stateside, and then 3 years in West Berlin, and then got out of the Army, went to work for the post office, and had a full career with the post office as a letter carrier. Just retired last year, and I've got a wife and 4 kids, ranging from 21 to their mid 40s, and 6 grandkids.
Do they know about Race to Alaska?
They do.
Okay.
Yeah. They hear a lot about it from me.
All right. So Brian's family can just call your family.
Yeah, exactly.
It happens.
Yeah, and I've got 4 siblings, and they're all pretty engaged in it. And a couple of them came up and saw us off on the Washington 360, and at least a couple of them will come up there to see us off for Race to Alaska as well. So yeah.
Okay, so you completed Washington 360 seemingly successfully. Everyone is still married. That's not always the case for people who complete Race to Alaska. But now that you're leveling up, what are you really looking forward to? I mean, you've known about Race to Alaska for a long time. You've heard the lore. You've seen it from afar. What are you excited about?
I'm excited about the scenery and the wildlife more than anything, just being out there and the adventure of it. And, I like to do hard things. So it's a good sufferfest. Yeah. So all those things, but I'm really, really excited about, just taking in the scenery every day. It's, I spent maybe 6 years in Alaska as a kid. We lived up there. So I have some idea of the scenery. I've been in some of the Inside Passage in Alaska, but not below that. So I'm super excited to experience it.
Where did you spend time in Alaska?
We live just outside of Anchorage, a little town called Peters Creek.
And Brian.
Yes.
What is your answer to what is truly a terrible interview question? What are you excited about? I'm working on it, folks.
Hot shower at the end of it.
A shower at the end. Not always available, Brian.
That's all right. I'll get over it. Um, I've always wanted to go to Alaska, and it usually involved a motorcycle to get up there. But as life has progressed, I've been more involved in the water, and this is a great opportunity for an adventure. And I'm all okay with having an adventure being difficult and trying. But Clay summed it up. An adventure, the scenery, the wildlife. Hopefully, the wildlife doesn't eat us.
Doesn't eat you.
Yeah.
Hasn't happened yet, knock on wood.
Right.
How did the two of you get together as a team?
We live a block away from each other or thereabouts. And a friend of mine was telling me about Hobie Tandem Islands, and I got interested in him. And then I knew Clay kind of cursory, just as the neighbor. And then I saw one in his driveway one time and said, "Hey, I really like that boat." And he's like, "Oh, you know what that is?" And eventually he invited me to go sailing with him. And turned out we worked out pretty good together. And one day he's like, "Hey, have you heard about the race to Alaska?" I was like, "Oh, yes."
You
And
had. Okay.
yeah, actually,
How did that come? How did you hear about Race to Alaska, Brian?
through a different friend of mine, and then online, the different videos. And then eventually there was the Race to Alaska, Don't Do It YouTube videos. That was it 23, where it was the crossing to Victoria that had all the rescues.
I was 22. That was my
22.
first years in the races. That was my very first day in race high command. That was a
Nice.
rude awakening.
Nice baptism.
Yeah, it's great.
So yeah, we were at that point, Clay and I were very interested in doing the adventure, and we're like, I wish there's somebody that we can talk to that has a small boat like ours. And I was, flipping through the teams, and I found one guy that happened to live in Sebastopol, which is, I don't know what, less than 10 miles away from where we live. I was like, "Oh, perfect. We should talk to that guy and figure out, what he did and where he went." And I saw his boat, and I was like, "All right, that's perfect. It's a little trimaran like the Hobie." And then I watched that video, and one of the first clips was a turtled yellow trimaran and him getting airlifted.
That day's a blur. So
All
Yeah, I
right.
bet it was.
Intentionally.
yeah, actually, it turns out that this year's race start that you will be experiencing has almost an identical tide cycle thing going on, which I'm sure you've looked into already. Is there anything that is like truly scary to you that you're like that is actually kind of keeping you up?
See more narrows.
Yeah.
Yeah, and crossing over to Victoria.
Besides that, it's a breeze.
Yeah.
That's right. It's just hopping from marina to marina and getting hamburgers, right?
It's my job to make sure everybody thinks this is a big, scary thing to do. So I cannot agree. I cannot agree with that. Every inch of this is heinous. You out there in listener land. Where would you most like to be shipwrecked?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Thank you.
In the Gulf Islands.
Yeah, a specific one at all?
Well, I've been to Gabriola, so I wouldn't mind being there.
Let me ask you this. What's beyond the horizon of Race to Alaska?
Ooh, race to Alaska in a different boat?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing it again. I've got I'm thinking about trying some winter ultras after this, like the Discobia 160 or some of those. That's kind of the next thing on my agenda, in the back of my mind anyway.
Well, Clay, Brian, it's really good to talk to you. It's really good to see you. Last time I saw you was on a finish line. Next time I'll see you is on a start line. So that's a pretty cool relationship to have. I wish you the best of luck in your planning.
Thanks, Jesse.
Thanks for chatting. See you.
Thank you, Jesse.
We'll see you in a few months.
I think this is your year. You've been a fan of Race to Alaska and its racers for a decade, and you've never gotten off the couch. This year, do something different. Come to the Race to Alaska Ruckus on June 13th in Port Townsend. Come to Victoria and be there on the docks when the teams get in and when they're putting their boats back together after the proving ground. And come to Ketchikan. Fly up there, sail up there, take a ferry, but go to Ketchikan. See what all the buzz is about. Special shout out to our partners, Ketchikan Visitors Bureau. They have been with us since the very beginning. We love what they do. Thank you. And bringing home the final interview of this episode are Mark and Chelsea from Team Only Lovers Left Alive. They talked to Team French Connection Sailing, coming straight out of Boston with their J24.
Hello.
Hello.
Lovely to meet you.
Nice to meet you both. So we are on 3 different time zones, if I understand.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so you're out in France right now.
Yeah. I'm actually moving back to France. So after 25 years in the US.
After the race or before the race?
Oh, I've been in France since September, but I will go back for the race and then move back to France after the race.
Will you sail when you're in France?
Absolutely. I'm actually changing my career to be spending more time on the water. An easier job to spend more time on the water.
Wow, what will you do in this new career?
I'm going to work in a pharmacy because I have a doctorate in pharmacy, but before that I was a scientist in research and too many responsibilities in biotech. So now I'm going to be in a shop delivering drugs and spend, in France you work 35 hours a week. So I have a lot of time for myself and selling.
These are the right choices. I love any choice that gets you close to the things that are like actually important.
Exactly.
It's sweet.
It's time to do that. Absolutely.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Nicholas.
Nicholas, hello,
How are you?
welcome.
Thank you. How are you doing?
Very good.
We're glad that you can take a little bit of time to talk about your future adventure all the way to Alaska.
It's crazy, huh? We are getting there. Wow.
You guys had plenty of time to prep, it seems.
We have been thinking about it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we have been working on it for quite a while and thinking about it for a while as well. Yeah, and the only thing is that we had to find the right partner in crime, both of us. And I think we met on the right place at the right time, and that's what made it happen. That's for sure, because such an adventure, we need each other. It's not only us, it's also the other person has to be there.
Well, I'm curious, tell us about your origin story a little bit. You guys met while sailing?
Yeah, correct. So I was actually, I was new to Boston, and I was looking for a sailing center where I could, do a little bit of sailing. And I figured out that I found a club which was called Courageous Sailing here in Boston at the harbor. And I went there, and all of a sudden I hear somebody who speaks with a French accent. And there goes Delphine. So obviously it helped. And as soon as we got together, and since this day, actually, we never stopped sailing together, correct, Delphine?
Yeah, actually, the first sail we did was not even that day. It was when I went for the regatta that was organized by few days after that. And here is Nicola again. And he's like, do you want to be on my boat? Because I was very new to sailing and clearly I was not able to be the skipper of the boat. So I'm like, absolutely. And that's from that moment, we started to think, okay, we need more sailing. We love it so much together, and beginning of a great sailing time and friendship.
Beautiful. Mark and I sailed Race to Alaska. That's why we're here interviewing you, because we double-handed about quite similar to yours all the way up there to Ketchikan. And so I think one of the things that I'm always curious about with a double-handed crew. What makes your partnership work? Like, what's the vibe, and how do you know when you meet someone that they're the one that you're going to sail to Alaska with?
Delphine, I'll let you get this one.
First of all, I think we laugh a lot. And that's the key. I think we both have a sense of humor that is working well. And even in adversity and when there are problems, even if sometimes we scream at each other and we move on and we laugh and we always manage to get out of the trouble. So I think that's one of the big thing. And I think also we are pretty complementary because Nicola, first of all, has amazing skill set for sailing that I don't have. But beyond that, I am very I am the voice of the reason sometimes, maybe because I'm older, maybe because I'm also a scientist, so I see things a different way. So I think we have a good balance between risk taking and thinking ahead of what could be going wrong and and sometimes pushing back on certain things that we think could be a problem. But it's always as a dialogue because it's working well with Nicola. I can tell him, no, I think I cannot do that, and he will listen,
That's
and
key.
yeah. Go ahead, Nicola, if you
And also I believe that we can push each other and also know what the other person is capable of. Sometimes without knowing it, I think we have various examples, and one of the example which comes in my head is one of the first race that we took in our J24 double-handed race. There was a little bit of wind. There was about 15 knots of wind, and we just purchased the boat, so we were really getting to know the boat. And all of a sudden, Delphine and I, we looked at each other and I said, why we don't put the spinnaker up? And and obviously when you have 15 knots of wind, new boat, new time, it's something that actually we didn't believe we could do it. And by talking into it, by pushing each other, we were able to execute all the maneuvers that we needed. And it shows really that we are complementary there. And I must say that as Delphine is very great when it comes to science, in the sense that she likes to look at weather forecasts. She likes to strategize the routes. She likes to get into it, and this is not something that I'm very good at. And I think that's where we get the partnership together, and that's where we are able to work together and push each other and the trust is there. And we have a third partner on the boat. We call him Jackie. Jackie is our obviously our autopilot, the pilot, the autopilot. We call him Jackie. So we are actually three, but we are two to make the decisions.
That's great. It's lovely pairing to hear. I was kind of parsing through all of the historical R2AK data yesterday, and this is unofficial, and race boss Jesse will have to weigh in here at some point, but double-handed sailors, especially in sailing vessels, is like has the lowest number of entrants in R2AK. And I'm curious to know your guys's, or maybe this is a conversation for everybody, but why are there so few double-handed sailors racing compared to single-handed or people with like full crews, 3, 4, 5, up to 11?
It's a great question, Mark. I love it.
I believe there is a few factors in that. One of them obviously is monetary. I think that more crew you are, better it is to split the cost in that. But also well, in fact, why we don't want to be 3 and why we don't want to be 4 in our boat is because actually we work well together. And I believe that bigger the crew is not because you don't trust each other, but it's because you maybe need a little bit more of confidence on the others that you don't have.
Mm-hmm.
And also, let's not lie, the lack of sleep, the difficulty of going somewhere, the night sailing, and all those factors make it also difficult and such a race. And when it comes to offshore racing and also in the race to Alaska, this is something that you should expect, and maybe also is the type of boat. We have a 24 foot.
Yeah.
It's made. It's when it goes to inshore racing, it's made for 5 people. But when it goes to offshore, five people in such a boat, you won't be able to fit, correct?
Right.
So maybe it's also that we have a 24-foot that makes it easy for us to get two people on it.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're absolutely right. I think the redundancy of skill set is probably one thing that people feel like they need, in terms of even just when we don't have intention to really stop the race and stop at I mean, unless necessary, but really we are planning to sail through night, and that's what a race is. And some people would prefer to do that having an additional body on the boat.
So you guys are your game plan is sail straight up to Alaska, no anchoring.
So far, unless obviously, all the passages are not favorable to us. We know there are certain passages that we'll need to anchor because the tide is not with us, or because the winds are not there, or because we are just tired of paddling. That's part of it as well. So we are fully aware of it, and I must say that we are looking into in all the areas, and we got in touch also with some previous races, and I must say that the French connection is there again with all the narrow-minded. Guilain it's somebody which is really helping us in there, and he was really upfront and telling us, I can give you all the shelters and all the places where you could and potentially will need to anchor. So yeah, that's something that obviously we have been looking at as well.
Yeah, there are definitely lots of unmarked anchorages on this course.
I'm sure there are.
We found
had a
a
few.
whole lot of them.
Yeah.
There is, and this is what the beauty of this race also is made, is the unexpected, correct?
Correct.
When it comes to racing, you never know what's going to happen. When you go offshore racing, you know that you will not stop because there's nothing in front of you. But whenever you go to the narrow passages and all the currents, you don't know what to expect. It's like something that if you miss it by 3 hours, you missed it by 3 hours, and you have to stand there for the next 6 hours before passing the passage. So that's what it will be happening.
Yeah,
But
that's
that's
the
a great time.
adventure part that
Yeah.
that we really are excited about too, about Race to Alaska.
We found as we were double handing, we would spend a lot of time single handing while the other person was really down below resting or cooking food. And, when we got in a pickle, the other person would come up and take advantage or, help out on deck and stuff. But we would, from time to time, I think when the conditions were against us, we would drop our anchor and rest while other teams that were crewed would continue on, and we would wake up 3-4 hours later, and then we'd catch back up with people who were like pedaling all night, for instance. So we kind of think that we had a lot of rest on our journey.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we were expecting as well. I mean, it's part of it. You're absolutely right there.
I always say, Nicola, you are much younger than me, so you are going to be the one pedaling the most. so I'm like, okay, but why? We were discussing with each other, and we were like, why do you dread the most? And I'm like, both of us are like, oh, the no wind. That's really what we dread the most. So if we know that the weather tells us that the wind is going to pick up later, maybe we will say, okay, let's anchor, sleep a little, and when the wind pick up, we are there back into the race full speed.
Absolutely. Yeah. She kind of tells you when you should go and when you should pause. The conditions are just like there, and you can either fight them or you can go with. And that's definitely how we did the race. And it's just so interesting. I think as a double-handed crew, it's I feel like that's the biggest advice that I would give somebody. Go with rather than fight in the situations where it's appropriate.
Well, what is the expectation is to finish the race. We are not there to win. The expectation for us is really to finish the race. So if you manage the people on the boat and also the boat itself, which is obviously the most important, that's how you get through. If, as you said, if we push it too much, we'll break either us or either the boat, which is obviously what we don't want. I mean, we have been preparing this adventure for nearly 2 years now. and I think it will be a disaster for both of us saying that, after the first night, because we wanted to go too fast, or because we wanted to do something which is not great, just because we wanted to race for it, it will be something obviously devastating for both of us there.
I'm curious, have either of you sailed in the Pacific Northwest? And
Nope.
what are you looking forward to the most about that aspect of the race?
For me, will be the scenery. I think I want to see the Pacific Northwest really as something that I see the scenery to be beautiful. The also when it comes to whenever it gets to the animals, I'm actually very excited about all of those. I think the water and when it comes to the winds, sailing here or sailing there will be the same, a part of the coldness of the waters. But yeah, that for me is really the scenery. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, same for me. Actually, it's really what convinced me, because originally that's Nicola's dream to do Race to Alaska, and he started to bring me in, and really one of the biggest thing was like the scenery, the animals, and so really, it's what I'm looking forward to.
It's something extra special for sure. We talk about it a lot. I'm curious. So French Connection, big French culinary, country. Lots of good food. I was reading Bernard Moitessier, famous French sailor, the long way solo around the world. I think it was something like 100 days in, he like pulls out a smoked ham from deep below in his hull and has it for dinner. What are you guys planning to do for food?
Originally, we don't have anything to really cook, but originally we were planning some good food. Now we are more like, oh, let's make it simple and go with some dehydrated food. But it's not excluded that we will have still some ham and and other dry sausage and other things like this. But I don't think we'll cook a lot, because we don't have anything to really cook, but beside a boiler. So we expect this to not be very easy.
And I must say, one thing that Delphine told me when we really went into it, she said the most scared of it actually is not the current or whatever, is the food. She said, I'm getting very grumpy if I don't eat. And if I don't eat good food. You must know that actually Delphine is a very fine cook. She does everything by herself. And when it came to the conclusion that maybe we have to go with lighter elements on the boat rather than going for something heavy, because again, space and also weight on the boat is essential. I can tell you that most probably on the back end of her head, she was crying and saying, how can I not do my cassoulet and not having my cassoulet at night to be in the comfort? But wine will be part of it, correct, Delphine? We need a lot of wine. That's instead of water, most probably we need more wine than water.
Yeah, to compensate. We need some wine. But the cassoulet is still not excluded.
Oh man, I vote bring the cassoulet.
Me too. We did the dehydrated food and absolutely hated every bite from day one.
which
it was our biggest disappointment. Well, you have 6 months to figure it out.
There is another thing that I treat myself with when I'm on a boat, and usually not on land, and Nicola knows it. It's the Nutella. So I think it could give me some good moral mental for the race if needed.
One per day, Delphine. No more than one per day. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, Nicola, does that mean one jar that Delphine is allocated a day, or one spoonful?
You know those ones that the stick ones that you get the stick and you take it inside the Nutella? That's what she's really. It's easy to get on the boat, and that's why she loves it. Whenever we go racing, she knows that I have one on the boat for her. It's always there. Whenever we went out, there was one.
Aw,
She
that
will
is
she will
some
usually
real
take,
He's
teammate
taking
love right
such a
there.
good care of me. Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
great.
and it will
I
be
can
finished
tell this
before
is
the
going to be a
start. You
win.
know, she won't have it until the end of the race. No, she will have done it before the start.
Oh my gosh, I would advise bring extras. This team shall be powered by Nutella.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Maybe we can ask for sponsorship.
They
Yeah, let's
might.
do it.
There you go. There you go. So tell us a little bit about the boat and how that feels like the right match for this race for you.
Well, the boat was a big discussion for us at the beginning, obviously. We, as you know, we are based on the East Coast, we're based in Boston. So there was various factors that we had to take into consideration. One of them was obviously how to transport the boat and how to get it somewhere. So obviously, once you get this into the equation, there is 70% of the boats which are already erased from the list. After we were looking at something which is reliable, and we always knew that most probably it will be only the two of us. So we need something reliable and maneuverable for two people. Cost efficiency, that's actually one of the big aspects of the race to Alaska is that whatever your budget is, you can fit in and do it as you want. So we narrowed a lot, and it came that the J24 was most probably the best fit for us in those on those aspects. We got this boat. It was in New Jersey. It's a old lady. She's from 1982, but the work which was done on it to preserve it and to be as impeccable as it was, I think it was really what got us. We did a lot of work during the summer on it, but when it came, it was ready to go out and sailing. The improvement that we have done is really the improvements which are made for when it comes to offshore racing and into the race to Alaska. But otherwise, a part of this, she was impeccable, and the J24 was a good fit. It's a reliable boat. It's steady. It's fast when it has to. It goes very well upwind, like downwind. It's something which is very, very great. I mean, we went out on 35, 40 knots of wind to try it out, and really it was there. And so that's how we ended on the J24, really.
But Nicola, you remember the conversation. In fact, what happened is we made the decision to do Race to Alaska, and within the same conversation, we were spending 2 hours maybe on the phone, and we found the boat and we decided to go to see it. But the point is, I told Nicola, look, Nicola, I just got unemployed. There is no better time to do Race to Alaska if you want to do Race to Alaska, because I'll have time to work on the boat, to do things on the boat, and that'll keep me busy, and that's perfect. And he said, okay, let's start looking for a boat. And we looked for a boat, and that day we were like, that's it. We saw multiple boats, and we called, and we fell in love with this J24, basically, because as Nicola said, it was in perfect condition. The guy that was taking care of it, he took such a good care of it. Everything was pristine. So we felt very lucky to find a boat within our budget that was in such good condition with a trailer.
It's like kismet, all the things kind of aligned. The space to do it and the beautiful, perfect boat and this lovely friendship that's allowed you to, realize something that was maybe not even on the horizon.
Are you planning on sailing back to Port Townsend after the race, or is somebody going to take the trailer up? Or how are you getting the boat back?
We're still debating on it. We know that the sail back would not be an option for us right now. For various reasons, we have to get back to work at one point. We are looking obviously to get it. We were actually discussing it this morning. Get the trailer up to Port Edwards, get the boat hold out over there, and then figuring out either we tow it back down to Seattle or something. We were discussing maybe to sell the boat before the start of the race and get the new ownership to sell it back. I think most of the people, that's what they do. and this is another option. So we are still considering it, but the best option right now, if we don't sell the boat, is to get it out in Port Edwards and trailer it back.
Trailer it back. Mm-hmm.
Originally, we were like, we sell the boat when we are there, or we sell the boat. But Nicola is a sentimental, it seems, that he is telling me, we cannot sell a boat when we will have done such an adventure together on it. So
You
we'll
and
see.
me, Nicola, it is hard to let go of a boat that you've done such an
We
adventure on.
No, but
we
you know
just
what
let go of ours. It's hard.
I told Delphine, maybe we can store it in Seattle and do the W360 next year.
There you go.
Now we're talking.
There
Yeah,
you go.
you're gonna get it hooked to this adventure racing. It's pretty fun
Oh, yeah.
stuff.
We will.
What you got, Mark?
I don't know. Sail changes. What's your sail plan, and do you guys have like specific positions on the boat? Like who goes up in the bow in 30 knots of wind with 12-foot seas and does a sail change?
That would be me.
That's you.
That's me.
If necessary, I can, but Nicola
Of course.
is more
Me too.
agile, I think, at this point. So, yeah.
I was always in crew racing. Most of the time I was at the front anyway, because I'm small. I can fit on the hatch. I can fit anywhere, and usually the skippers are, oh yes, Nicholas, be at the front. You will be good there. Under the snow, under the rain, whenever it is. Crossing the channel in the UK, it happened a lot of time where I get soaked wet, but I love it. So yeah, I will be the one, I suppose.
That's great.
Changing the spinnaker, putting the genoa or putting the jib. That will be me.
How many sails on board?
We will not take much. We have one mainsail. We have a jib, a genoa, and a spinnaker.
Small sail plan, but simple and clear.
Yeah, simple. Well, it's again question of budget, correct? More sails, more cost. So we are keeping it as simple as possible. And we know how the boat feels in certain conditions and with certain sails. We got a brand new jib, custom made for us and for the race. So that's our small gift to each other.
That's nice.
For this race. But yeah, we know how the boat will react in certain conditions. So it helps us. We were lucky enough this summer to get any type of condition that we could expect. And we went out on all those conditions to make sure that we are able to handle, first of all, and also to know which configuration we should get on terms of reefing the mainsail, or which front sail we should get, which condition we can put the spinnaker out or not, and we did all the tests there to feel comfortable with each other as well, and to do it perfectly.
Yeah, that's actually so essential because it's ever changing. So it's just knowing what, when along that journey.
Yeah, and sometimes it's during the race and the regatta we would do for a day. It's perfectly fine to be very leaning on the boat for hours, but it's just hours. Now, if it stays, no, you need to, you may want to take a little rest and be a little more flat.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, we did sail changes quite a bit, and Chelsea was the one that was up on the bow in all conditions. We definitely had way more sails than you guys are bringing, and I think it was kind of an exhaustive effort, and Chelsea was pretty instrumental at keeping the boat flat for us.
How many sails did you bring?
Too many. I think like there was one day like we were heading into Ketchikan on Hecate Strait, and we just had this like the wind was just blowing us right to Ketchikan, and we changed out. We had 3 spinnaker changes that day.
Oh, okay.
So if that gives you an idea, we had too many sails.
No, I mean we are not opposed to have another spinnaker. I mean, right now we have a heavy spinnaker. This is something that maybe we should get a light spinnaker because we know that sometimes the conditions are pretty light. But yeah, that's something that we're looking at. But we haven't done yet a decision there, so we're still considering it.
Yeah,
because we know that a heavy spinnaker can still fly. Even it
can in the light wind. Absolutely, yeah.
It will be a little bit flat, but but still it can go up. So
I
that's
love the
something.
idea of keeping it simple. Chelsea would disagree with me because she likes sail changes, but
I love a sail change. I'm like you, Nikolai. I just like love being up there, getting wet, bounced around.
Oh, it's the best place in the boat anyway. It's the most
Yeah.
comfortable one, so you can jump. It's actually very fun.
Mark gets a little seasick up there, so that's why it was my job.
that's fun.
Everybody gets seasick at one point. This is part of
Thank
life, and
you.
that's part of it.
I totally
Yeah,
agree.
yeah.
Just wait. One day.
My day is coming.
So when there's no wind, you guys are what's your propulsion? Pedal drive.
Pedal drive, correct.
Yeah.
And is this homemade or did
No,
you
that's the unit from Sea Cycle unit. But we got only one. We are like, okay, it's a small boat, and anyway, two pedaling on a two, that's not necessarily a good idea that we pedal at the same time. So, yeah, so we'll still bring some paddle,
Yeah,
obviously.
backup. That's good.
So as a backup, but it will be one that we will mount on where is the engine, the chair where
Engine
the
mount, yeah.
Engine mount.
So we got it. We got the Sea Cycle, and we have built a case around it to mount it where the engine mount is. Then we have a chair that we have cut legs just to be more comfortable on it, and that's how we're gonna pedal.
All right.
And then you have Jackie, and Jackie will be the one steering the boat during those times, and the other one can sleep.
That's right.
I love
That
that plan.
was that was our mistake. We didn't have an autopilot, and we had two pedal drives on the back, and we found ourselves when both of us were pedaling when both of them were not broken. And it was really challenging and hard to steer the boat.
So, how many hours do you think you're going to spend on that pedal drive? I feel like there should be some sort of like, wager placed.
Well, it really depends on the conditions, correct? I mean, looking at the previous races, there's some races where there have been almost no pedaling, correct? And some races where they have been pedaling 75% of the time. So if we are in the range of, let's say, 30% of pedaling and 70% of sailing, I think we'll be all happy about it. And this includes obviously going out of the harbor. So obviously this is part of it. But that's what we believe that will be our ideal scenario. Now, how it will be, we don't know. This is the unexpected, and this is part of the adventure there. So looking forward for it, though.
Yeah, and fingers crossed you don't get a year with just all rain.
Yes.
I
Rain,
feel
no
like that's
wind.
the big dread. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That's a different race.
How was it for you?
It was good. It was a little wet from time to time, but it wasn't too bad. And I think we had a pedal and a rowing station set up as our backup with a tertiary stand-up paddleboard emergency paddle, which we ended up using and breaking. But I think Chelsea figured out that we probably pedaled like 26 hours and we probably rowed like 25. But it took us 10 days and so 2 days worth of pedaling. That's pretty good.
We're looking at our plan. That's what we're expecting, about 10 to 12 days racing. That's what we have in our mind.
Nice.
So yeah, if we have 2 days as you had, that's exactly what we're looking for, correct? That's 20% almost. So it's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Have you guys been sizing up your competition?
So we've been in touch with the competition a little bit.
Nice.
I don't think there's really competition for us. Is really our main goal is really to finish the race.
Yes.
And as the best thing as it is. Now, both of us are very competitive when it comes to racing. So we might say this right now. Once we get to the race, and when Delphine will tell me, listen, this competitor is about 2 miles ahead of us, and if we do this, we might catch them. Then I'm not saying that we will not enter into it, but so far is really finishing the race.
You have to keep your mind happy, and when you're going after something like about 2 miles ahead of you, the adrenaline gets running and it feels pretty good. So
exactly, that's the little challenge once in a while. But for now, I think we are just happy to have other people on the water with us and not see them as so much as competitor as other adventurers that are attempting
Yeah.
this race.
Well, you're in for a treat because that was probably the best thing for us was, Race to Alaska really draws out a lot of sailing weirdos, and they're such lovely people. And, we've had some pretty lasting relationships come out of this, and you guys are in for a treat when you get here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think we love it. We can't wait more to get there. And
Well, we'll be cheering you on from the docks. Pretty excited to see you out there and just looking forward to watching you cross that line and catch a can.
Not too early
oh
though,
yeah,
because
we are
we
looking
want to
forward to it
enjoy
as well.
as long as possible.
Super, super lovely to meet you both. It's been really an enjoyable chit chat. And
Absolutely.
seriously, we will see you on the docks, and it will be really fun. So looking forward to meeting you in person.
That's great. That's great.
Thank you.
We're
Lovely
looking
meeting you
forward to it.
guys.
Thank you so much for your
Yes.
time.
Thank you.
And we're looking forward to meet you in person. And make sure if you need anything from Boston, let us know. We'll bring it over. Maybe some Red Sox hats, to make sure that
Love it.
everybody knows.
I love it. That sounds good.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
That does it for this week's episode. Thank you, everyone, for sticking with us until the bitter end. Listening to this podcast helps Race to Alaska and our parent organization, Northwest Maritime. Check us out online, r2ak.com and nwmaritime.org. See you next week.